I think it's 4, yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Good morning, Steve.
9 o'clock.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is 9 a.m. Welcome to, and it is Tuesday, October 23rd, and welcome to the weekly Cudahy County Board of Commissioners weekly meeting. And we'll open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Commissioner Van Dusen, would you lead us?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Troy. Beautiful fall morning out there this morning. It's good to see that sun shining and the combines rolling. That's what we needed to have happen. A couple of housekeeping chores. If you have a cell phone, please silence it or turn it off. And if you do get a call that you need to take, please just step out in the rotunda area so you don't disrupt the meeting. This meeting is being streamed live. So if you do address the board, you will be being streamed. Is there anyone in the audience that would wish to address the board during the open in reference to something that they have that is not on the agenda? We would like to know that. That way we could make certain that we allow time for you. Is there anyone? Okay, seeing none.
Excuse me, Mr.
Yes.
Chairman. Had a conversation with road superintendent this morning. Would this be the appropriate time to bring that up if he has something?
We could do that during the open.
Okay.
We'll do that during the open, you bet. Yeah. Is there anyone of us board members that looking at the agenda that has a conflict of interest or a possible conflict of interest? I see none. Then
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
I have a motion by Hatton to
Second.
approve the agenda, a second by Van Dusen. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. What about
Move to
the
approve as emailed.
minutes of the October 16th meeting? We have a motion by Hatton, a second by Gable. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I point out that even though my phone was on vibrate, I did bring the donuts in.
Oh, okay. We have donuts.
That's penalty
Good.
for the last offense.
Anyone who wants to call Lee at any time, that works.
Yeah, if any of you need to be excused to call Lee, just go ahead and step out. All right. We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the October 16th meeting. Any discussion? We have donuts. Any more discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Let's go right on to the reports. Sheriff, Brad, what you got for us this morning?
Morning, how's it going?
Good. On your way up here, how many deputies you have now?
We have 9 deputies.
9 deputies. We were all wrong.
Brad.
Morning, Brad.
Morning. 7 reserves.
7 reserves.
Yep, 7 reserve deputies.
Now the 9 deputies, are they all full-time or?
Yep, 9 full-time deputies.
And the reserves are working quite a bit. See them out,
Yep.
helping out,
We got a couple that
doing a good job.
passed their training that were certified from before, that are moving forward. And now we have the other 5. They are done with their training, and we're going to swear them in probably next week, it sounds like. So
Good.
got my own mic this time. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll get started on our monthly report here. On the balance sheet there in the front of the page there, you can look at the end of September 2018. Our bank balance was $7,453.42. If you jump on down, we collected $8 in copy fees. We collected $6,187.93 in sheriff's fees, $300 in warrant fees, and $367.99 was sheriff's fees that were collected in August, but we withheld from dispersing them till September due to a threatened bankruptcy on an execution that we served, so. So for a balance of $6,863.92. Lee's already ahead of me there and got her pulled up on the big screen up on top there. For September there, we responded to 536 cases and calls, 7 accidents we responded to, 79 warrants we served, 196 civil papers were served, and 4,172 transport miles, and if I remember correctly, I think that was 20 transports that we went on. You scroll down just a little bit there to the jail activity.
Those transports, there's quite a few of them to Sioux Falls, wasn't it?
There's quite a few of them to Sioux Falls, some to Yankton, all over the state.
Yeah.
Actually, today in court, there's 17 felony sentencings. So depending on if they end up in the local, our jail, or if they go to the penitentiary, that would be a bunch more transports. So
The good and the bad here, the bad is it's a lot of miles. The good is it's transporting some of the prisoners out, so we have
Yep.
more room here.
Yep.
That's the good and the bad.
So.
All right, go ahead, Brad. Sorry.
Our average daily population for September was 76.07. Our high ADP was 84 for the month of September. Our low ADP was 70. And on the 24/7 program on the Scram Bracelet, we have 27 people on the Scram Bracelet, 74 twice daily PBTs, and 53 for the twice weekly UAs, and 5 people on the Sweat Patch, for a grand total of 159 people in the 24/7 program. And we did 229 bookings in September. Some of the fees that we collected $10,995.16 in out-of-county contracts. We collected $5,430 on work release fees, 24/7 fees, $8,335, and scram fees, $4,393 collected. I think Lee, well, I'm going to report on the generator quick. This weekend we had the Team LaFran boys came in and dug up our tank again so we can get back to the main part of the tank. You guys remember we've been having some generator issues with fuel. So we dug down, we got to there, we replaced a foot valve in the very bottom. We're actually running it right now to see if it's working. We're keeping our fingers crossed. Hopefully this fixes it for final so we can get back and finish landscape that and get ready for winter. So.
Good.
That's good. You're able to get the parts then to,
Yep, it was a special foot valve. It was something that they had to make because it's not something a normal size for a normal tank. Nowadays, the pump is actually in the tank, it sounds like, for a lot of these gas companies. And we have our pump is in the generator house, the pump from down below. So it was a special part that they had to make or find, I guess.
How long does that have to run before we know if it's good or not?
I'm going to run it
They
this
just
morning a
gonna
little
run
bit, just let it recycle a few times, make sure that it's actually primed and it's actually pumping. And
Excellent.
Tuesday morning is when we normally do our generator tests anyways.
So you're pumping that stuff out on the street then, or?
Yeah, it's not, fuel's expensive, so we're going to keep that.
Good.
So.
Great, do you want to go on?
And then, yeah, Lee, actually, we've been working with Lee a little bit. Actually, Lee's been doing a lot of the work. Getting some of our data, working with our Zerker software that we have. And he's been able to kind of put some numbers together on a bunch of different things. If you wanted to,
So Matt Blackwelder and Christy Gast have been helping me get acquainted with Zercher, and so we've been working on this together, and we've wanted to be able to pull out some of these things more in an easier way, where it's not a manual drill for Matt, and so we just started breaking down what we could, what's readily available within the Zercher. And by the way, for the public's knowledge, Zercher is the vendor of the software that keeps all the jail data. So and so you can keep a number of things. You can look at a number of things if you know how to slice and dice it. But so this is a 4-year period. So you started using Zercher sometime in 2013. And by the way, this is a work in progress. And you could look at things like who's the county that we're holding, or what jurisdiction are we holding somebody for. And so this first chart on the upper left That dark blue is Cottington County. Those are Cottington County inmates. And you can get an idea. I forgot to put the percentages on that, but you can see, say in 2017, out of an annual average daily population of 78.62, there's 74.59 of those those inmates on average were from Cottington County. So that gives you an idea of what that looks like. And then
This is data from 14 to 17?
yeah, so each column is a year, so 14, 15, 16, 17. So I know it's a little small. Like I said, it's a work in progress. And one of the other interesting things we wanted to get an idea of, and especially as we're working on the courtroom, is what is the sentenced versus unsentenced. So in this case, in the jail, a lot of people are unsentenced, and so we wanted to have an idea of what that percentage was. And you can see, looking at the far right column, 80.1% are unsentenced. So the dark blue is unsentenced, and then fitting with the uniform of the inmate, the orange is sentenced. So, and that was just under 20%. So you can get an idea that it stays on the low side though, and hopefully, as we do enable the court to get through more with the courtroom, that ratio will change. Maybe even the overall number will change. And I won't go into these other ones too much, but these are kind of demographic breakdowns like gender, ethnicity, age, and I won't go into that too much. But ADP, for everybody's knowledge, is average daily population, and that's how many days somebody spent in a bed in jail, and then you divide by the number of days in that period you're counting. So if you're looking at a year, you divide by 365. If you're looking at a month, you divide by the days in the month. And average length of stay is how long does a person on average stay in jail, and this is looking at particular demographics. And then this is, next page is the same thing just by month for the last 12 months. So kind of like corresponding to the report that Brad does. So you can see the same thing. So this one has the percentages. So this upper left chart is how many inmates come from what county or from what jurisdiction. And again, the blue bar is, the blue part of the bar is Cottington County. So you can see that in general, as we have more inmates, it gets a little harder. There are exceptions to that, but it does get a little harder to bring in out-of-county inmates, so to help them out. And then the same thing, this is the sentenced versus unsentenced, just to give you an idea. So it fluctuates a bit, but it does stay on the low side. So that's month to month. So that's from October last year through September this year. And the other nice thing about using Zurcher as we get better at this, it's a little bit easier for the jail staff, so it's a little less of a manual drill for your guys. So anyway, that's a work in progress. We thought we should show it to you because we're kind of seeing interesting things in the data. So
When you're,
Okay,
excuse me,
good.
when
Thank you for
you're,
doing that.
when you're doing that, can you track like an individual, if they're on recidivism?
You could, I think you can do it. That's a little project for me. That's where, I happen to have a part-time job where I do some of this stuff. So that's why, but.
If there's something we can do, that
we'd
would be
have to
kind of
figure-
an interesting.
You can see people that come back, but that's another thing to figure out how to do that in a nice way. But yeah, you're talking about, the frequent flyers, so to speak. Yeah.
The recidivism
Yeah.
on that.
Be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what you have to, that does make this whole process a bit trickier because where you can't just go by a person's name.
Yeah.
You have to figure out something else to,
However it's booked or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
numbers.
yeah.
Good.
Could
Again,
you,
thank you, Lee, for doing that.
Yes, would you be able to email that to me?
Sure, yeah.
I appreciate that. Thanks.
So using this data, Lee, the sentenced versus unsentenced inmates up there with the addition of the third courtroom, how do we think that will play?
I think it's going to help. I would imagine it's going to help the ratio. I mean, there's other things in the process. I mean, I think we're going to have to work with, you have the UJS, but you also have defense attorneys, the state's attorney that are going to have to adjust to that too. So we'll see how that plays out. So that's probably the most expensive factor in the process is that courtroom and helping that to speed up a little bit. And I think what you're going to see is the ratio. The orange will get bigger. The question is, will the overall number go down? And then there's always other factors out there, like what a particular trend within crime that might take place as well. We might have to work on an alternative for that too in the future. So anyway, I think that at a minimum you should see the ratio change, but that would be my guess.
And it all hinges then, like you say, of individuals, with crime, if there's more people ending
Yeah.
up going through the system, but
Yeah.
I still think it should help reduce our numbers.
I mean, it should enable the court to at least, if somebody's going to be sentenced to the jail, they're going to stay there. But if somebody's going to be sentenced to a penitentiary, to prison, then that would help that number go down.
Help the process go
Yeah,
more
yeah.
quickly.
So this is a bit of a baseline before we have our new program, so.
Yep.
All right, any other questions for Brad at this time? I've got a couple of things for Brad here that I want to clarify. Brenda, you have something?
No?
Lee, you had something else?
Well, just that there's a change order for the courtroom that pertains to the
Yeah.
court project, so we can get to that when you're done, Mr. Chairman, so.
Well, when you were on your way up here, I asked how many deputies you had and how many reserves and so on. Commissioner Van Dusen has a request, and we probably want to ask the sheriff some questions in reference to. Why don't you share with us what you were?
Well, actually, I think
That's an
I
exact.
got my question answered, yeah. I just needed to know the number of deputies.
All right, okay.
We're
so-
going to do some contract stuff in
Okay.
executive session.
Okay, anything else for Brad? Let's go on. Let's jump down to number 7, then, and you've got some surplus equipment that you wanted to get rid of. Is that right?
Yes, I have a old light bar that we've taken off one of our vehicles, and I got a request from the Florence Fire Department to, they would like to use that. I'm in favor of letting them have that.
Right. I'd make a motion to.
A motion by Hatton.
Second.
Second by Van Dusen to authorize the sheriff to donate that to the Florence
Florence Fire Department.
Fire Department.
Yep.
I thought it was going to be some,
They're building another grass rig.
good, very good.
It's nice to be able to share the resources like that.
Good use for that, get it recycled.
Yep.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Same sign, go ahead and get that done. All right, let's go back. You had some other questions?
Can I step out with the sheriff for just a moment?
You sure can if you'll come back.
I was just going to go to the change order that
Just
might
don't
pertain to
lock
the
him
show.
up.
We still have a quorum.
Yeah, we still have a quorum. Let's back up then to number 6, and that's discussion, possible action to authorize temporary clerical help in the Veteran Service Office. And Al, first thing I would ask, should this be done in executive session?
I don't know, I've never requested this before, so I have no idea.
Is it to advertise, Mr. Chairman?
You know, we're only looking at 4, maybe 6 weeks at the most, and it'd be part-time, 3 days a week maybe. It's gonna be very flexible. And it may be less than 4 weeks. It all depends on how everything goes.
Well, we are so fortunate, we just happen to have our state's attorney sitting here, and so I'll just ask,
Well, maybe I need to talk with Al to find out exactly what's
all right,
going on.
could you do that, and then when you come back during the open, and we'll take this? Thank you very much for doing that, appreciate that. Thank you, Becky. All right, let's go on then to number 8. We'll come back to number 6.
Mr. Chairman, do you want to, there was one of the change orders for the courtroom that pertained to
All right.
security for sheriff.
What other,
It's up, down in number 17.
Good morning, Brad.
Just, good morning. Yeah, we have donuts.
All right.
for you.
back
No
down to
one's diving in.
17. And Commissioner Waterman, you note that this is a change order request here? All right, what you got?
All right, so I'll just jump down. There are 3 change orders on the list, so that we have to deal with today. So if you look at that front chart, the last one, PR17, extend movable security walls. This one pertains to security in the courthouse. So essentially, if you flip to it's the last few pages of the packet, and basically what this does, if we have a security checkpoint, and the easiest place to look is on that the very last, about the third to last page, it has a picture. And you see that these are if you look at the way to describe this picture here, it looks like that. Yeah, the way to describe this picture. If you look at the floor,
You're
kind of
standing in the northwest corner of the courthouse,
yeah,
looking kind of down.
yeah. So that on the partition on the left is the front door entrance, and then the kind of one with the 2 doors in it, that is the area around the security checkpoint. So if you look at the diagram, that's kind of like it's set on a blueprint. The diagram with the purple lines, the part with the purple lines, that's the security equipment like the X-ray machine and the metal detector, and then the blue line close to that would be modular furniture. So basically, as the sheriff and I talked about this, we thought it would really enhance his ability and his deputy's ability to provide security for the courthouse if we just extended that wall all the way across the way it's shown in this picture. The current project plan, those middle two panels would be missing, and that would be filled in by modular furniture. We were afraid it might be kind of expensive, but we thought we should at least ask and get a quote on it. Well, the quote came in to be a really good deal, so it's actually only $988 to do it as shown in the picture. If we want to put a door in there, it's another $840. So the total would be, is what's shown on that sheet, would be $1,828. So,
And the door would enter into the security.
yeah, so that would really enhance, it's probably not that much different than what the modular furniture for that portion would cost. And so we were pleasantly surprised by the price on that. So I'd make a motion to approve that change order. So that's PR 17 to include the doorway, so that total would be $1,828.
Okay, we have a motion by
Second.
motion by Gable, second by Van Duzen. Any questions? Charlie? Any
No
questions?
questions? No?
Anyone
very
else?
logical.
I think it's going to, for
For the security of the courthouse, it fills that gap. Instead of having some low walls there that someone can jump over and still
Yeah.
enter.
So we thought we would fill that in with modular furniture, but this is a much better solution at a very reasonable cost, so.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Okay, you have another one?
There's more, but they don't pertain to the sheriff.
All right.
They'll come later on, so.
Thanks, Brad.
Thanks.
Thank you, Brad. Okay, Becky, is that something that we should do during the exec session, or?
No, I don't believe it needs.
Well, let's just back up then Al can get on his way and go back to work. Let's go back to number 6. Discussion, possible action to authorize temporary clerical help in the vet service office. Go ahead and explain.
Okay, my secretary will be out anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. And during that time, I'd like to hire somebody part-time, maybe 3 days a week, 5-6 hours a day. Just to be there to answer phones when I'm with somebody, or if I have to go on a house call or whatever. And I have spoken to somebody, this person is a veteran, would do a great job, and they're not looking for long-term, they're just looking for something to fill the hours in.
Okay.
We talked to Terry, and he didn't think we'd have to advertise or anything.
So do we
Okay,
have,
you've heard the rest. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, do we have a base rate of pay for this position?
We have
or-
it's a clerical position. I gave
So it'd be just
Al
a grade.
it's, it'll be
Step
dependent
one.
on the
I
person's,
think the lowest one would be fine.
Step 1.
$14.97 an hour is about a personnel change form will have to be filled out also.
I'll make
So
a
you'll-
motion to approve this.
And we can act on that next week.
At your next
No,
meeting.
we won't be here next week, will we?
Oh,
But I mean, that's fine. You can
But
approve the
I make a motion to
hiring
approve him
and
to
then
hire the
personnel
clerical.
change at your next meeting.
Okay, we have a motion by Hatton, a second by Gable. Any more discussion? Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Okay.
Thanks, Al.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Al.
Thank you, and thank you.
Yep. All right, now we'll
Leave
go down
those here.
You can take a donut.
Sheriff, the sheriff is just outside, Al.
Let's go to number 8, then, action to authorize the application of the fiscal year 2020 weed grant funds. Steve, fill us in. Thank you for showing up, Steve.
Good morning. Well, this is a grant that's applied for every year in the past years and so that. The minimum is $5,000. This past year it was $6,200. The $5,000 is the minimum. It all depends of how many counties actually, I guess, achieve all the things that need to be done by attending all the meetings and all the other requirements. So this is what I'm asking is to approve this. So
Charlie?
I'd make that a motion.
We have a motion by
Second that.
Waterman, a second by Hatton. Any more discussion?
This
Did we
is-
get this year's?
I did send it in. I don't know if we have received it yet or not. It'd probably be soon.
Yeah, it should be. And this is a requirement of the Department of Legislative Audit that whoever wants a grant needs to come before this board for permission to apply.
Yep, it's a good policy. Yep. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Go ahead, Steve, thank you
Thank
for
you, Steve.
Thanks,
taking
Steve.
care of that. Rick, we're gonna get you back up here again, or up here, I guess this is the first time, you've just been passing through. Authorization to advertise and hire for a highway maintenance 2 position to fill a vacancy, and as we all know that, there was a retirement and Rick moved up and left a void, and can you actually hire somebody to fill your spot?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't think it was possible, you know. All right, go ahead. What do you want?
I need to advertise for a maintenance 2 position.
All
Truck
right.
driver and on down the line.
So we have a motion by Gable and a second by Waterman to authorize you to advertise for that position. Any discussion?
This is a budgeted position?
Yes.
It's not a new position?
No, it's not a new
It's
position.
to fill,
It's to fill,
People have moved
Okay,
up.
got it, got it.
so
And you said you weren't planning on doing this until,
I'd like to have them hired the 1st of January, so
Yeah.
they can start the 1st of January.
yeah, so
That
that's
way
a little.
I have 2 months with the holidays in there. That kind of gets messed up, so I'll probably start the process at the beginning of next month,
Sure.
so.
Any other discussion? Anything else? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Go ahead and advertise.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
Number 10 is action to allocate juvenile justice reinvestment initiative funds. That's Becky. Come on up, Becky, and share with us.
And I have Kyle's team from Boys and Girls Club is here as well.
Come on up, Kyle.
Yeah.
And he brought somebody with him.
Oh, we gotta need another mic.
Well,
I think we'll be okay. We can share. What we
who's the, introduce.
Yeah, introduce your,
I'm Cora Sorensen.
talking to the mic maybe so that press can hear you.
All right, I'm Cora Sorensen.
And?
And I'm the youth prevention coordinator at the Boys and Girls Club and teen court coordinator.
Okay,
What we have is we receive funds each year from the state under the Juvenile Justice Reinvestment Initiative. We have not quite 5,000, I think it's $4,995 that Cottington County has received and needs to be reallocated into youth programs. In the past, we have allocated those funds to the Boys and Girls Club for the teen court program, and that is what I am asking the commission to do again this year. And I did ask Kyle, and he brought Cora as well here, just to kind of update you guys on the teen court program.
good, thank you. Go ahead.
So basically,
Would you introduce yourself?
yeah, Kyle Teen, the director of club services here at the Boys and Girls Club, and then I do have Cora Sorensen. Really, she focuses on teen court, but really prevention as a whole with all the different preventative services that we can offer at the club. We did just pass out a little sheet to you guys there that kind of just highlights where we're at so far with the program over the last couple of years with cases and caseload and things. Year to date at this point is on the bottom of 2018 there.
No, we didn't.
Oh, did I run out of some?
Yep, we just need a couple more over here.
I have more. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then up at the top there, just talking more about like the process of teen court itself, how we actually run the program, the way the case actually comes from the state's attorney's office to the Boys and Girls Club, sits on Cora's desk, and then how we make contact with each individual. And maybe at that point I'll let Cora jump in and talk specifically about how she handles the courtroom process.
Yes, so they do an intake with me where the family decides if they want to be part of teen court. It is definitely up to them. They do have to admit guilt. And then from that point, I set a court date with them, and we have court night after hours here at the courthouse. And during that court time, they are assigned a disposition, and that disposition kind of comes on the fact of restorative justice. So we're not there to maybe, give them a punishment. We're there to restore them. I've had individuals that have came back and thanked me just for different parts of their disposition that they've done that has really made them realize that they made a choice that could have hurt a lot of people, and luckily they got caught when they did, and now they're making the strides to, you know, be a better person and make better choices. And then they do work through the 90 days after their court date with me every other week during check-ins. So I do kind of like case management with them every other week to make sure that they are, you know, staying on track with their disposition to get it done within the 90 days. And then when they have everything handed in, then I send a letter to the state's attorney saying that they successfully completed.
There's a lot of behind the scenes that go on
Yes.
in teen court.
It's very effective, though.
It is.
I mean,
Yes.
like-
Very effective.
Yeah, just to kind of speak to the recidivism rate, you know, I think over the last 4 years, we didn't put this number on here, but I think it was on a request that we sent to you guys in years past, but we were at about an 87% recidivism rate with our kids. And how we get that number is we do a 6-month reevaluation of all of our completed cases. So we contact, again, the state's attorney's office and just kind of see where we're at and how many have reoffended within that time frame. So
you're at 80% reoffending?
No, that have
Reoff-
not
not
reoffended.
reoff- reoffending.
Okay, so 20% reoffending.
Yes,
Okay.
perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, the numbers back.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
All right, any more questions?
Just a comment, this is factoring into the Juvenile Detention Alternative Initiative. So this is one of those community assets that we need to keep going as we start to organize the overall JDAI. And I did have a question. How are you guys doing on volunteers for your jury?
We had, actually last night, we had kind of a mock trial. So my volunteers were able to come into the club. And we just kind of did a mock to practice. And we had some new volunteer recruits then, but I'm always looking for volunteers.
I mean, I know somebody very well that volunteered, and she really, she appreciated the opportunity to be part of the community, and she found it interesting. So I'd encourage people to volunteer for this. I mean, because it's important and it's very helpful.
Cora, can you just, I see the types of referrals are on our sheet here. Can you just go over those referrals so people
Yes.
know?
So the types of referrals, the ones that we see the most are that possession of drug paraphernalia and possession of marijuana. I would say that ingesting is probably next. So definitely those marijuana cases. And then we do get quite a few disorderly conducts also. And then trespass, simple assault, and petty theft, there's maybe a couple that we've gotten. And that's just from this year so far with the 26 referrals that we've gotten.
Anything else? I just wanted to note that we do appreciate very much what you do. It's very valuable. It really helps us up here, right, Becky?
It does.
Absolutely.
And actually, the motion that we're dealing with right now is to transfer, did I get the right number, $4,495 or something like that?
$4,990.
4,000.
That's even better yet.
We received this money last November. It's $4,995.54.
Make a motion to,
And we're going to transfer
Transfer
that
that
to the
over.
Boys and Girls Club to
I'll second.
support the teen court.
We're actually going to cut a check.
You got it.
We have a motion by Hatton, a second by Gable. Any more discussion?
And it was
This
a number
is-
of years ago that Patrick McCann came to this board and asked that the board distribute these funds in this manner. So that's where the action comes from.
Very good place for it.
yes.
Very good place.
This is an awesome program for our youth that, you know, hopefully then as they become adults, you know, they went through this process and have learned their lessons early. And
One thing too, on the back, there is volunteer information, and I guess to me this is a big point for our community. So in 2018, my defendants, so the kids that were referred to me from the state's attorney, have put in 329 hours of community service in our community. So they are too giving back
Not
to
only
the
is
community.
not only does it help the state's attorney's office with their caseload and teach our young people responsibility and how to work through these, but it also gives kids that have an interest in pursuing law a chance to get up there and be part of the process, which I think is important, just like our Explorer program that we have. So good stuff.
Very well said, Commissioner Van Dusen, and I agree with you 100%. It's more than just one thing. It's 2, 3, 4-fold. It does a lot of different things. We appreciate all of your work and all of your efforts. We have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried.
Thank you for your
We
work.
will cut a check for that program. Thank you.
Thank you.
For joining us today and sharing with us
You better have some
that information. All right, Cindy, you're up next. You want to buy some equipment for the auditor's office, and this is budgeted.
It's a budgeted item. I have 3 computers which are going to be almost 5 years old in a month or so. So I have budgeted to replace those computers. The total cost for the 3 computers, plus the software and the charge for the installation is $4,827.
I'll make
Since I'm the, I was gonna say, since I'm the liaison, I was gonna make the motion for that.
A motion by Van
I'll second
Duzen.
it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Everybody was talking, so I did. The motion by Van Dusen, second by Hanton.
Yeah.
Any more discussion? It is a budgeted item. Any more discussion?
Nope.
Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. By the way, there is a printout in your packet. All right, Milo, you're up next in reference to a new stage out at the Ag Building. And having been out there for many programs, I've always kind of held my breath many times, especially when Milo and I have to get on the stage because it's a little shaky.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Milo.
Morning, Milo.
Okay, on the staging request, this is to replace something, that already exists. Does have some age to it. This was built probably in the neighborhood of 15, 18 years ago. It's held up well, but I think we're at a point we need to look at replacement. However, there are no funds available to do this. We spent all of our available funds on the insulation package for the Ag Building. So, however, I would like to take this and see if we can get some help or assistance in purchasing this from the Chamber of Commerce Farm Show Committee. I don't know if they're willing to purchase the whole thing, willing to throw in a portion, or none of the above.
Look at the price tag.
Okay, the price tag we had,
Is that in the packet?
that was in the,
5,800?
Yeah, it is in the packet somewhere.
5,800.
Yeah.
okay, approximately $5,800. This would be for 4 or 8 sections, 4 by 8, with stairs and with skirting. So at that point, maybe I can get back with you, if I get permission to approach the Ag Committee with this and then go from there. How about
I
that?
think we can do a common consensus here. All in favor of him doing just a touch and base with the Ag Show Committee? Is it all right with everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
Okay.
You bet, that'd
It
be
is
good.
in
Now, the
dire
question I would
straight
have
need,
on
though.
that staging, is that a portable then?
Yes.
Okay, that would be one of the things that I would, this other one is not portable. It's portable with about 8 guys.
It's not quite that bad, but
Almost.
How big is the stage we have now, Milo?
we'd be replacing the same size.
Because sometimes that does get a little bit crowded out there, and I'm thinking about the 28th and with 4-H days coming up, achievement days.
Yeah,
Or Saturday,
same
Sunday.
thing, what we have out there now are 4 by 8 foot sections, and we can configure it, any number of ways to. So we would be
But
replacing what we have.
It's just the number of times that I've been out there and for the different events that it seems a little bit crowded for what maybe we've outgrown a little bit of what we've got.
Oh, that's,
Especially when you get a 3 or 4 piece band on that stage.
Well,
And it gets a little
like for
crowded.
Veterans Day and things like that.
Yeah, Veteran Days fills it up pretty good, yeah.
and this is expandable. I mean, we can order 16 units if we wanted to, but
But why don't you get the opinion of the Farm Show Committee and see what they think too?
okay.
All right? All right, let's jump down then to number 13. And Milo emailed me this request earlier in the week, and I didn't respond to it. That's an action on a request for designated parking at the courthouse for veterans.
Okay. I had a veteran stop in and ask this question. We had a little misunderstanding initially. He was asking for information for another location, but I thought it would be a wonderful idea to have a designated parking spot in our parking lot for veterans. You know, I realize this would be unenforceable, you know, as far as, you know, policing who parks there and who doesn't park there. But it would be my recommendation or my request, you know, that we put up one or two, you know, veterans parking signs in our parking lot. You know, maybe, you know, replace one of the 30-minute parking signs with a veterans-only parking sign.
I was going to mention too, Milo, now that the Veterans Office is over at the City Odd Building, is there, like in the front there, what sort of parking is, I mean, is there people that park there that maybe we could save a spot for veterans there as well? Or, I guess that's city though, we'd have to find out.
City.
You know,
Right.
that gets into a
Generally,
different
they
thing.
don't
Then you're
do
talking about putting something on a
On
public
a street, yeah.
Are you thinking about, due to the fact of a parking space because of veterans that might be handicapped?
Not necessarily, no. I mean, we already have handicap parking. You know, so I just think it would be a nice
Out of respect.
recognition move out of respect to have a parking place for a veteran that comes to the courthouse for whatever business they come for.
I'd entertain a motion, and then we can discuss it some more.
I'd make a motion.
I'll second that
We have a
motion.
motion by Gable, a second by Hatton.
So to change one of the 30-minute parking spots to a veteran spot.
And,
How many 30-minute parking spots do we have out there?
Off
whole
the top
row
of my
is-
head, I'm gonna say 6.
Okay.
Too many, because I'm parked in one, that's why we're moving this meeting along pretty good. No. Last week I did, that's why we did it up in a hurry.
And it's not enforced. I mean, basically, it's
No.
not. I mean, I shouldn't probably say that, but it's not.
That was the only question.
There's no ordinance
No.
to back it up.
Right,
It's
right,
a
right.
courtesy.
It's just a gesture as a
Okay.
courtesy,
thing,
yeah.
Yes.
That was the question I had, being a vet. I think it's a good idea. I don't know if I would utilize it, I'd park wherever, but that was my only issue as far as enforcement, and it couldn't be enforced, you know. The only thing you can do is require all of us vets to get a thing from Doug, like I do. Yeah, I'm a lifetime member of the Vietnam Vets, and I have a license plate that, you know, so otherwise you'd never know that they were a veteran. So
Right.
it'd have to be just, you know, I would hope that people, if they parked there and weren't a veteran, would feel guilty, you know.
That's the idea.
But I doubt if they would. In some cases, I doubt. All right, any more discussion? We have a motion and a second on the floor. Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And we'll leave that up to you, Milo. If you
I
want
will
to make
take
it,
care of it.
you want to make it the closest one or the furthest away one, that's your discretion, okay?
Okay.
All right. What else we have for you? Anything?
Yeah, I have
We
a,
have 14 Midco requests for internet service at the Ag Building. A 3-year contract.
this is replacing a 3-year contract that we signed 3 years ago. Actually, the cost has went down from $220 a month to $195, I believe. This has nothing to do with the county offices out at that location or the SDSU offices. This is the internet that we use out in the building that's provided as a service to the people that use our building. You know, the farm shows, home builder show, the vendors, you know, the people that rent our building basically, or classes that use it.
Sales in the sale ring.
The number I see is $195.
What speed is that going to be? Because I've been out there and it's almost as good as the state fair.
Yeah, I can't tell you that off the top of my head.
I'll make a motion to approve this
When is
contract.
this due?
Actually, the contract is due to be signed as soon as I can get it back in.
So we're signing up for something that we don't know if it's better or worse than what we got now.
It'd be the
It's
same
the
as
same.
what we have now.
What we got now isn't very acceptable.
Is very acceptable?
It's not any better than the state fair. I never can get service out there.
No, I have no issues out there.
I'd make
I've
that
never
motion
heard of
to approve this
I never
contract.
tried. We have a motion by Hatton. A second?
I'll second.
Second by Gable.
Have we had any complaints from vendors that it's not working?
Yeah, when I've gone to, like, say, zoning meetings and stuff, I've used my iPad and my laptop, and I haven't had trouble, honestly, so. But
So the question that I have is is there like hotspots around the building there, which,
There's multiple
How does-
access points.
okay.
You know, I believe we have 5 access points throughout the building.
I'm thinking for our planning and zoning board meetings, that we use,
That might
Luke
be a
uses
different-
that, I think, pretty often.
yeah.
And I don't think he has any trouble
Is
with
this
it.
the same hotspot or the same access point as what we use in that part of
In the kitchen?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that part,
yeah.
it is same, okay. Well, okay.
You know, and really you could start streaming your
Might-
zoning
might be.
board meetings.
And the price is $195 a month, correct?
Correct.
For a
We have to
3-year
have all this kind of
contract.
equipment.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Anything else? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Get her done, Marlo.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Milo.
Thanks, Milo.
All right, Cindy, she wants a
Milo.
day off here.
Milo?
No, we need to do number 15.
What? 15. Oh, yeah. Just a minute, Milo's being,
I was summoned back.
be summoned here.
Sound system installed over next one in September.
Pardon?
That PA system that we have that's in there, we're going to move that over to the extension building for the zoning.
To the lunchroom.
To the lunchroom, so,
Oh, you can do what you want. That's,
but
what's out there is probably, well, no comment. You can do what you want.
needs to be replaced. That's the old system that was in here. We're going to take that system from in here, put it out there so that they don't have sound issues out there. So,
I think it's better than the one that's out there.
yeah,
And
is
then the
an
one that's
upgrade.
out there, we could move up to Memorial Park. Some people sometimes want.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we could take that one out there then.
just
We're trying
so
to
if
be
you see us
frugal
doing some
here and
work.
Recycle and use our
Yep.
equipment. We don't want it sitting in the closet and getting dust.
We can do that.
I'm sure Cindy would like to get
I'd
it out
love
of
to
here,
see it
so
gone.
Yeah.
we'll put it to use out there. We'll get
Okay.
it installed. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Milo.
Thank you, Marlo. All right, number 15, action to transfer commissioner's contingency. Go ahead, Cindy.
All right, we have 2 budgets again this month that need to be supplemented. The first is the court-appointed attorney budget, which will need $5,858.58 to put that back to a 0 balance. And the Board of Mental Illness budget will need $4,435.
Move to approve.
All right, we have a motion by Hatton,
Second.
second by Gable.
These are budgets that we have no control over.
Any
and
discussion?
we don't know
We
what
started
they're
out
going
with
to be.
$253,000 in commissioner's contingency. Before these transfers, this month, that amount is down to $224,594.70. We've transferred approximately $28,405 before this meeting.
And those 2 budgets are the 2 that have really been putting a strain on us.
And we're just going to have to do it every month from here on out till the end of the year. There could be some others. I know the coroner budget is also back at a 0 balance, but any bills that come in from now until the end of the year will also need a supplement.
Okay? Is there a motion?
I have a motion and a second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Cindy. Let's go on then to 16, and that's where Cindy wants a day off here. No meeting on the
I just
5th.
wanted to, bring it everybody's attention that per previous action, the board does not meet on the 5th Tuesday of any month. It will definitely help me this month to get ready for election
just part of it.
And also, then we will not be meeting, we'll be meeting the 8th instead of the 6th the
Instead of
following
election day,
week.
yeah.
So
Yep.
then we won't be meeting now again until November 8th.
Till November 8th, yes. And I have notified all of the department heads to plan their agenda items accordingly.
And the press realizes this, you make note of it? Okay?
They do
All right.
now, yep.
Very good. Appreciate that. All right, let's go on to 18, claims for payment.
17.
17, we still got some more change
Oh,
orders.
17, I'm trying to move this along here. Cars parked in that 30-minute parking. Action to approve change order for courthouse remodel, and that was the one I was trying to just skip over.
Yeah, well,
All right,
sorry.
Mr. Waterman, go ahead, Lee.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple more. So, including the one we already approved when the sheriff was here, that we had 3 to work on today. So if you, the ones that we've already acted on the, I'm referring to the cover sheet here just to show kind of the tally of the costs of the credits or the additional costs of the various change orders. So we've worked through PR 12. That was the last one we approved. In addition, before we approved the one PR 17 earlier today. So the first one to deal with is an additional data connections for the court system, for the unified judicial system. So this kind of came about as a discussion between the contractor and the subcontractor, making sure that they had the right data connections. You can see the amount there is $2,635. And the asterisks there, I started putting asterisks next to ones that can be covered by the law library fund. So just to explain that, I mentioned it last week, just to be clear on that. Within the project, there's roughly about 80,000 of the project amount is for courtroom technology. So as long as that deals with presentation technology, so in other words, helping a trial work more effectively because you can use audiovisual, it can be just amplifying sound, or it can be flat screen so that the jury can see exhibits more efficiently, more clearly. So those things can be paid for with the law library fund. And the law library fund is not comprised of tax dollars, it's comprised of court fees. It was originally designed for counties to provide law libraries for lawyers and for the public. So there's no way the amount of money in that fund that is accumulated would be very helpful. And so it's roughly, it's what, about $76,000, I think.
$76,444.81.
So we need to keep some of that aside for our law library, our monthly law library subscription, and some internet, Wi-Fi. But that's not going to come anywhere close to using up that money. So this is an opportunity to spend that money accordingly and save some tax dollars. So just you know, when you run into those kinds of presentation technologies, such as a data connection, or the one below it that's not ready yet for us to decide upon, PR 14 for a flat screen mount, those things can be covered by the law library fund. So we'll see exactly what that amount is going to be, but I would anticipate we'll be able to spend about $70,000 out of that fund, which will save us tax money, because that's roughly equivalent to what the courtroom technology part of the project is going to be. So I know I digressed a little bit, but just to explain how that's going to work. So I'd make a motion to approve this data connection one in the amount of, so that's PR 13, to add some data connections for the court in the amount of $2,635.
Second. There's a motion and a second. Motion by Gable, a second by Waterman. Note that for sure.
I got it.
Any discussion? Thank you, Ari. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. And you have one more then?
Yeah, one more is a credit. This one's it's basically a done deal, but to formally, we should approve the change orders formally. This is a credit. There was a window from the clerk of court's office, so from the clerk herself's office into the rest of the office space. Over the course of the project, we figured out we didn't need that window, so this is just a credit for that window, and that's in the amount of $405.
Make a motion to approve that.
Second.
I have a motion by Hatton, second by Van Duzen. Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries.
Can I make one more comment? Just just at the bottom there, you'll see we're still. This is, strangely enough, all these change orders have still put us a little bit ahead, $911 ahead. That's even before we apply that the law library fund money. So I think we're in pretty good shape, and that includes the change order we approved earlier today, so.
Okay.
So just so that, I know the public can't see this sheet, but I can show it to the press if they want to see it later, so, thanks.
If they would want mine, I could have mine. He doesn't want it. It's just way too much to read anyway. All right, let's go on then to number 19, budget supplements.
Number 18.
Or 18, okay, claims for payment.
We have 4 claims for payment. The first one is to the Watertown City Finance Office for $23,166.38, and that is for the August 911 surcharge collections. Second one is to one of our Visa accounts for $302, and that was travel for the Register of Deeds office. Another Visa bill, $316.30, and that was also miscellaneous travel for the Sheriff's Office. And another Visa bill for the Auditor's Office in the amount of $30, and that was also for fuel charges traveling to the conference.
Move to approve.
Motion by
Hanton.
Hanton, second by Van Duzen. Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. All right, now we'll go on to 19, action to approve automatic budget supplements.
So with the action to make payment to the Boys and Girls Club with the Juvenile Justice Reinvestment Initiative Program funds, we need to do an automatic supplement with the amount we received, $4,995.54, automatic supplement to the state's attorney's budget so we can cut payment from that budget. And we also have an automatic supplement in the amount of $9,400 from our insurance company. What Milo and I discussed how to remedy the problem where the insurance company of the individual that caused the damage does not want to pay us what the claim was, what our claim was. So we contacted our insurance company. They recommended that we file a claim for the damage to the building, which we did. So they cut us a check for $9,400, which is it's $5,000 less than it would cost us to repair because that's our deductible. They will now in turn go after the insurance company of the person who did the damage to the building.
This was, Cindy, is just a way of taking care of this matter and not having open end.
That way the contractor can get paid for his work.
And we did pay the contractor.
Okay.
We did pay him when we paid bills. We talked about that earlier this month. But right now, it's basically in the hands of our insurance company to make sure we get the money we should be getting from the other insurance company.
Will that include that reimbursement for that $5,000 deductible?
I'm hoping it will cover our deductible also.
Possibility.
It should. It should.
Move to approve.
Motion by Hanton, second by Gable. Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Seeing no more discussion, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. We've got a boatload of personnel changes. They're in your packet. I hope all of them are there.
All right, the first one is Brent Solom. He's a deputy sheriff. He's due a step increase to step 5, $23.79 an hour. Jill Schweitzer is a clerk in the Register of Deeds office, due an anniversary step increase to step 11, $19.15 an hour. Alan Bank is maintenance 3 at the Highway Department, due an anniversary step increase to step 12, $23.89 an hour. Brad Schwinger, also maintenance 3, anniversary step increase to step 12, $23.89 an hour. And Rick Holinka is maintenance 2 at the Highway Department, do an anniversary step increase to step 12, $23.21 per hour.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Van Dusen, second by Waterman. Gable, second by Gable. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Travel requests, we have a number of travel requests to deal with as well.
Highway Superintendent Rick Hartley is requesting authorization to attend the 2018 Safety Conference later in November. He's also requesting authorization to tour the Caterpillar plant. I believe this is an offer made by the Caterpillar company. The only cost would be travel to Sioux Falls. The Weed and Pest supervisor has submitted 3 travel requests for himself and his 2 part-time sprayers to attend the district weed meeting in Stratford. Weed supervisor has also requested authority to attend the 2018 Joint Safety Conference later in November. Not sure why he gave me 2 of those. The next one is also the Weed and Pest Supervisor, the Van Diest year-end conference that they put on. Maintenance Supervisor Milo Ford requested, or Facilities Manager requested authority to attend the safety conference in Pierre. And he also requested authorization to attend the Dude Solutions University seminar. This is an annual seminar this year it's in Raleigh, North Carolina. This is something that Milo has attended each year. It's put on by the people who, the software, our Facility Dude software that we use.
I'm sure he has that in the budget.
Yes, oh yeah, these are all budgeted items.
Yep.
Move to approve those travel requests.
Second.
Several of them are a benefit to the county with the safety conference.
Lawson
for-
Safety Conference, correct.
We have a motion by Hatton, a second by Van Duzen. Is that who did it?
Hatton and
Gable. Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Old business, any mature business we should deal with today?
Mr. Chairman, just a quick one. On the next Justice Advisory, Cottington County Justice Advisory Committee meeting was scheduled for October the 29th, but we thought there's nothing really pressing as we move forward with the courthouse remodel. So we moved that to November 29th. So it'll get us after the election and all that. So
Good idea, because there's
So-
nothing going on in November.
yeah, so we can focus. Yeah. So November, so after Thanksgiving. So we just basically moved it back a month,
Very
just
good.
for everybody's information.
Anything
What
else?
date did you move that to? November,
29th.
the Thursday
The
instead
last
of
Thursday
Tuesday?
in November.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other business? Any other old business? How about new business? Any new business?
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to thank JT for his story that he wrote, and Lee for the story on the courthouse project. That was very well done. Explained it very well. Thank you.
I think it answered a lot of questions.
Yes.
People were wondering what in the world's going on, and that certainly helped clear the air a little bit. Appreciate that too, so thank you. Echo Commissioner Van Duzen's congratulatory.
One other item that's not really, just to let people know about. I was contacted by one of the high school instructors about. She teaches a local government class about touring the jail. So just so you know, that we made some contact between the jail and that high school class. So the jail will be given a tour, assuming everything's quiet at the time on Thursday. The jail to those high
To
school
go
students.
along with that, LATI, I believe, will be, is there a photography class at LATI?
There is.
They
yeah.
will be here today to take some pictures. They called yesterday to take some pictures of the building. They just called to make sure, reassure us they would not be interfering with any. We do have voting booths set up in the hallway. It is court
Yeah,
day, but they reassured me that they would not be intruding on any
Okay.
of that.
All right, good, thank you. That's great. I would really encourage the classes up at the high school, whether it's government classes or whatever it is, to come up and sit in on one of our meetings even, to get informed of what we do or what the county actually does. And I know we don't do enough of that, getting out and talking with our school-age children and adolescents. We need to do more of that, so I appreciate that. All right, is there anything else for the open? I've got a number of things for the open
For
here.
the open, yeah.
Go ahead, Brenda, what you got?
Well, on the calendar where there could be a quorum of commissioners this afternoon and into the evening, Prairie Lakes is having their open house on their new facility from 2 to 7. Also tonight, there's a volunteer appreciation supper at the Elks. Tomorrow afternoon, the Boys and Girls Club playground dedication is at 12:45. This weekend is Zubu from 2 to 6. I don't know. And Sunday is a 4-H recognition banquet at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Monday night, since next week we won't be meeting as well, Monday night's at Tanya Kale up at LATI at 7 p.m. And I think that is all that I have, that there could be a quorum of commissioners at, unless someone else has anything else.
Anything else that you know of? Anything else? Yeah, come on up, Rick. Rick has got some pictures that he wants to share with us, and I think you have them in your packet. I think that's what you want to discuss with us.
I got a couple things.
Couple of things, all
Yeah.
right, go ahead.
All right, first off, the picture of the manure spreaders. This is down by Grover. It's on 20-2 off our county road that we just rebuilt here a few years ago and paved. And the pictures show how it tore up the approach going in. And on the back page, I think you have an estimate on what it's going to cost to fix. And Dunnix gave me that, and I
Second to the last page, $4,007.85.
Yep. And I told them just to fix it because it has to be fixed before winter comes. And I want to know if I can pass that on to, there's 3 parties involved. One that supplied the manure, one that carried the manure, and the guy that owns the land. Can I pass that on to those individuals, or is that something that the county just has to?
No, I think we should pass it on, but I would certainly get the state's attorney involved in this.
Okay.
Rick, I just have a quick question. I know we discussed this earlier this morning, but is the landowner and the guy that producing, has the feedlot, are they one and the same?
No, there's 3 different.
So the feedlot operator and the landowner are 2 different entities?
Yep.
Or the guy leases the land or whatever?
Yeah, there's a landowner, the guy that had the manure, and the guy that hauled it. They're all 3 different, they're not the same, so I need to find out who the guy was that did the hauling.
Producer of the manure is not the owner of the land.
Rick, where is this at again?
It's right down by Grover on 20-3, right on the north side of Grover.
It's on that new road that we put in a few years ago.
Right.
That went around Goose Lake.
Yep.
But I certainly want you to work with the state's attorney so you and us, we don't get into trouble over this deal.
Yep.
And they'll know the proper procedure and how to,
Yep.
but I certainly would, I would expect that they would have some liability that would cover this, and I would really appreciate their help in getting this fixed. And I know that accidents happen, and I know when you're hauling manure, you're kind of busy. So
Yep.
that's the way that
Absolutely.
goes. All right, and the next one.
The next one, I have a proposal here from Clark Engineering on our issue at Willow Creek on County Road 75. This is the engineering fee, and the bad news is I asked her for a estimate on what the whole project would cost, and she told me between $55,000 and $75,000. And that's including the engineering plans and buying the riprap and hiring someone to do it. But that was nothing firm, that was just a rough guesstimate on her part. Because I knew you'd be asking what it was gonna cost to have that fixed, and
Something we'll have to bid then.
yes.
Okay.
And so give me those numbers one more time.
Between 55,000 and 75,000. And what I need is to have you okay this to start the process of having it done through Clark Engineering.
And how far did you say that road now is off that ditch bank is off of our county road?
I'd say roughly 20, 25 feet. I'll get some more pictures of it, you know, standing on the road where it's at. I should have had more pictures taken now, but it's just one of those deals that,
Is this something we could do yet this fall?
depends on the weather. It's all gonna depend on the weather, you know.
Yeah.
How long this takes, you know, to advertise,
That's out of the fence.
you know, if we have to advertise it a couple of weeks, how long it has to be in the paper. You know, we're getting close to Thanksgiving already, so
So
I'm not sure.
do we, Mr. Chairman, so do we need to accept Clark's proposal? Is that what we're saying, or is it to get?
That would be you'd have to authorize
Declare an
me to
emergency.
sign that proposal with Clark.
Yep.
That's what we're looking at right now. Is that-
without it being
is that-
agendized?
Well, I think you have to declare an emergency.
You're going to have to, if
Say-
you want to do it today, you're going to have to declare an emergency
Yeah.
since
Since
it
we're
was not
meeting-
on the agenda.
We're not meeting for a couple of weeks, and so I'm a little concerned that, you know, we might delay the process.
And
I
see,
mean,
I asked her about, you know, if we don't get it done this year, if I can purchase the rock, the riprap, and have it in my yard, so in the spring, if it starts to eat more, I can just dump it in there to fill it up. And she said that probably wouldn't be a problem. We just have to get it back out and then slope everything off and then felt it and, but.
Mr. Chairman, if I might.
Yeah.
So Howard, is this something that is, at least the proposal from Clark, is that something that's kind of urgent, or can we wait on that till a couple of weeks, or what's, just your honest opinion?
The weather's just gonna, I don't think it'll get done this year, you know. If we can just get it, if we have to wait to do this, I think it'll be all right.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
as long as I can get the okay to purchase the rock and get that in my yard. So if we'd have a lot of snow this winter and there's a lot of runoff, I can keep it from getting into our road. That's the part I'm worried about.
That's what you need us to
So
do that.
so we could handle this on, what, October, November
November 8th.
November 8th.
8th?
Is that okay?
What is,
Yeah,
I mean, the rock, what's the rock going to cost?
That I'm not sure. I have
I mean,
to
if
have,
that's just a normal purchase through your department, you don't need board approval necessarily.
I'd have to.
Depending on how much.
I'm not sure how much rock
Okay.
we're gonna need until we have permission to have the
Okay.
engineering plans,
Okay.
so.
Well, I've got it on the agenda. Is that what you want to do, is put it on the agenda to accept Clark's proposal and proceed with the project
On the 8th.
on the 8th?
You think you can wait? I mean, is that going to be okay to wait, or do you want this done on an emergency?
I think we can wait,
Okay.
you know, unless we happen to get a lot of rain or something now, which hopefully doesn't happen.
Doesn't look like it's supposed to happen, but yeah.
But, like I said, I don't think it can get done this year, 'cause it's.
Let's do it on the 8th then.
Okay.
Okay? All right?
All right.
Thank you.
Yesterday, I had Next Air stop in my office, and I had already gave them the Hall Road permit, and they cleaned it up, put their name in where Apex was, and all that good stuff.
Okay.
And she wanted to know what she had to pay. Because the bill from Banner is right around $5,100. And because I told her there could possibly be a cost, because we haven't sent anything to Apex yet. And she's, whatever it was going to be, you know, for the Hall Road agreement, she
Well,
wanted to know.
Apex paid for that one, right?
Yeah, and
So
they haven't
what-
paid
that set
anything yet. We haven't
precedent?
sent them a bill.
Because we're waiting for this one to come
So you
through,
just- yeah.
because it is something that probably could be, or, you know, split
Divide it
between
in
the
half.
I
two.
think it's split it,
Yeah.
but is anybody else gonna wanna come in on it?
Yeah.
We don't wanna make money on it. We just
No,
wanna
just
be
come in.
fair to everybody.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
She just wanted to know what she was gonna have to pay, and I told her I'd talk to you guys today, so you'd have time to figure out what,
We need to put it on the agenda,
And what the amounts are, for
and,
sure.
yeah.
you know, just off the top of my head, I would think, you know, we
Is
could
it-
split it. you know?
Beans is two different projects.
Yeah.
And probably two different haul roads, or they might
Oh,
be
yeah,
the same. Is Banner, I guess I would ask Banner the question, is this covering one or is this covering both?
Yeah.
And if there's a $5,000 bill or whatever it is for each one, then
Yeah. And I'm going to talk to them today because she let me know that they plan on starting construction in the spring when the load limits come off.
Yeah.
See, what they did, Charlie, is we had the original one drawn up, and
Right.
then and so now this one, they're just piggybacking off on the same one, they're just putting their name in, so
Yep.
they're
Yeah,
using the
it's the same
same, so
one.
we're not paying another 5,000, it was just the original cost
right,
to get
and I
that
just
done.
wanted to make sure that we weren't going to accidentally get a 5,000, be stuck for 5,000.
No, and like I said, I'm going to talk to Banner as soon as I leave here and inform them that their services, because she let me know that she wanted approach permits for where all these towers are going, and I told her that each spot had to be okayed, you know, you can't put it under a hill and all that stuff. So in a couple weeks, she may be coming back to go to all these sites, and I want to take Banner along with us when we go to all these sites, because there's 70-some sites that we're going to look at.
Sure.
So,
Okay.
and
So
I
you
think
may,
I informed her that when I have Banner come, that will be passed on to them.
right,
So,
because that's just for that project
Yeah.
specifically, so,
Yep.
yeah.
yep. And
So,
then,
to move things along, then, if we put it on the agenda for the 8th to act on it,
okay,
and what we're acting on is to make a suggestion as to what we would feel is a fair split for that.
yeah.
On the
engineering
initial,
costs.
on the initial one, because the one,
Yeah.
you're probably not gonna
Yeah.
know what the costs are gonna be for the
No,
approaches.
that'll
Yeah.
vary, you know, depending on how much time they have to spend.
Right.
And at that time, you can bring us a little bit more information on the riprap or on the road
Yeah.
situation as well, okay? All right. Any more questions for Rick? You got your marching orders on?
Yeah,
Clear
All right,
as mud.
thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
I have a couple of things for the open here. They're good news things, so we always like to wrap things up with good news, and this is from the Lake Area Zoological Society. And it's a letter, it was addressed to us from Dan Miller. It just says, the Lake Area Zoological Society would like to say thank you for the $20,000 allocation check. The financial support of Cottington County is extremely important to the Lake Area Zoological Society to provide a first-class zoo in Watertown. Each year, school-age visitors come and organize school classes while others accompany their parents on family visits. Approximately 17,700 boys and girls in preschool through college, representing every racial, religion, cultural, and economic background present in the Watertown area, visit Bramble Park Zoo annually. Through educational programs and special events, we touch nearly every child in Cottington County at least once a year. Bramble Park Zoo is one of the greatest assets in Watertown and Cottington County. In 2017, 62,792 people visited the zoo, making it a major recreational, education, and tourist attraction in Cottington County. Surveys show that Bramble Park Zoo has $750,000 of economic impact on Watertown and Cottington County. Thank you for your support, Lake Area Zoological Society, the Bramble Park Zoo, Dan Miller, Director, and I thank you for the letter of appreciation. And the reason I wanted to read it was the fact that I wanted you to hear those numbers. 17,700 youngsters visit that school, and then in addition to that, 62,792 people visit that school.
The zoo, you mean, not school?
The zoo. Sometimes the school is the zoo too, but this is at the actual Bramble Park Zoo. I think, I was at a meeting here a while back, and I think we take our zoo for granted many times, and I'm glad that this is one thing that we do support. Anyway, this gentleman said he was going to leave and he was going to go pick up his family. And I said, well, why didn't you bring your family with you? And he said, well, they wanted to go to the zoo. So he brought his family, and he was from out of town, and dropped them off at the zoo, and he attended the meeting that I was at, and after the meeting, he was going to pick him up. And he said, you people have the most wonderful zoo, and our family, our kids, they just love to go there. And I think, we don't think about it. You know, we drive by that thing every day, and look at the gophers run around out there, but it's quite an attraction. The other thing I have is from the Department of Agriculture, and this is in reference to, and I just thought I would share this with you, just got it this morning. I received a notification from Department of Environment and Natural Resources that they did approve the animal waste management system plan from the Zimlica hog operation out here that we passed through the Planning and Zoning Board, and we approved it here. And I know that some people wonder if we actually ever do get any of the follow-up information, but here is the actual certificate. And anytime any of the approvals are done through planning and zoning, I have a whole desk full of them from projects that we've had, and this is going to be filed in my desk drawer too. So we do get follow-ups on that, and then if they expand the operation, the Department of Ag always notifies us of what's going on and what's happening there. So that was kind of good news stuff for you. Anything else for the open? Anything
I
else?
should file those. You may have another one that you had tucked in there too,
Yep.
but I have a file that I
I have
put
a whole
those in.
file over there.
Okay.
I knew where they were at.
All right, well, I have a file out there if you ever need it.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right. Anything else for the open? I have a request for executive session for discussion of, I guess, personnel issue. We've taken care of that. We don't have to, that number one, we could scratch that one. That was from Al. But for number 4, preparing for contract negotiating with employees.
Make a
and
motion
employee
to go
representatives.
into
We have a
executive session
motion
under
by Hatton
4.
to go into executive session and a second by Van Duzen. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Do we anticipate any action after the?
I do.
It's on your deal?
I don't think so either.
Donuts, you guys.
Do we anticipate any action, you think?
We're gonna watch.
I don't.
No, there's nothing.
Okay, nothing.